Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about the best Christmas pageant ever. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Okay, so best Christmas pageant ever. Its reviews are really, really good, which is kind of surprising because I saw the trailer for this movie. I think it was in front of it was in front of Wild Robot. I watched it and I just gave it a hard shoulder shrug, like that was a movie. That's kind of what I got out of it. But apparently, it must be pretty darn good because like its critic score is at 89%, audience score is at 99%, and its cinema score is a A. So word of mouth across the board, terrific. So obviously I have that's a pro. That's a given. Like, come on. So word of mouth is absolutely on this movie's side. So that's pro number one. Pro number two is the fact that obviously, if you couldn't tell from the title, this is a Christmas movie. We're officially in the holiday season. Some argue, well, Thanksgiving hasn't happened yet. Well, in the world of movies, once November hits, it's Christmas. Look, I don't make the rules, okay? And plenty of Christmas movies have opened in November. And the reason why they do that is because you open early, you have time to play out before Christmas. You have like a whole like month and a half pretty much to play out. Lots of movies have done this. Elf, Polar Express, trying to think of some others off the top of my head. The Grinch, both Grinch movies, live action and animated. The Santa Claus movies, I think. Yeah, I think yeah. So yeah, releasing this right now, I think the timing is ideal. So yeah, so that's obviously going to be a pro. Another pro is that when it comes to direct competition, there, as of right now, I should emphasize that as of right now, this point in time, there's nothing serious going on. You got Wild Robot, and that's been out for like damn near 2 months. So if any families haven't seen like Wild Robot, or they've already seen Wild Robot at least a few times, they'll probably want to watch something else. And this is absolutely an option. So yeah, but besides Wild Robot, there's no direct competition like at all. I mean, there's Hit Pig, but I don't think anyone knew that movie existed when it came out last week, except me, because I had to make a video on it. So yeah, the lack of serious direct competition besides Wild Robot. With that, I'm gonna label that a pro. And I guess another pro is that this is, well, I guess it's both a pro and a con because this is like a faith-based flick. I mean, the movie makes it very clear. Like, this one, the creator of The Chosen, the show that was, I think it was, yeah, it was based on Jesus, right? Yeah, I've never seen The Chosen, so I can't comment on like its quality or anything. But I know The Chosen is like a popular show. I know it's gotten, some of the episodes have actually been like released theatrically, and some have done like great. Like legit, they made like a nice bit of money. But yeah, with faith-based movies, it's very hard to say whether they'll do great or they'll do terrible because you never know when that audience will actually show up or when they'll actually care. It's impossible to tell sometimes. But with this, it feels like this can like at least not feel so niche, not feel so like it's only made for like one audience. Like, it can expand past that audience. There's like actual crossover appeal, which is important. Like, if you really want your movie to really do well, you have to have some crossover appeal. And with that, I think with that, I'm gonna label that as a pro. This movie, it is faith-based movie that is not restricted to just people of faith. Okay, it's not just restricted to that audience. Like, you can be non-religious and probably get like a kick out of this movie, or at least like it. So with that, I've labeled that as a pro. Okay, cons. As I mentioned with Anora, the market has been real slow, real sluggish for a while. And there's been like a severe lack of breakout hits. That's like the big issue that's been going on. I mean, we've had some hits like Wild Robot, Terrifier 3, Smile 2, and Venom 3 have done fine, even though they've done a lot worse than their predecessors. But yeah, it's been rough, to say the least. That's gonna change soon. But yeah, this depressed market, I'm gonna label that as a con. Another con is that there's no direct competition now, but in 2 weeks, this thing is gonna have to deal with Wicked and then Moana 2. That's a lot. Okay, those are not small movies. Those are expected to be big money movies, especially Moana 2. Tracking has it at that movie making 135 million over like 5 days, which would be a record for Thanksgiving. And if that does come true, then this movie might just get squashed. So, yeah, not to mention Wicked. I think it's projected to hit like 80 million. I think it can do better. It can do better than that because that movie has like legit hype surrounding it. Not to mention you have Gladiator 2 out there, which is expected to make a nice amount of money. And to I guess a far lesser extent, there is Red One next weekend, but I feel like that's gonna be a flop. But the triple threat that is Wicked, Gladiator 2, and Moana 2, I don't know if any movie can really deal with that. And that includes this movie. Because obviously this is a family film, and Wicked and Moana 2 are also family films. As you can see, that's a problem for this. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that direct competition, that direct monster competition, that's a con. Absolutely. So that's con number two. Um, I think that's really it. I can't. Nah, I think that's it. Oh, I forgot to mention its previews. So this 500K, that's for Thursday night. This doesn't include, like in total, because of like early previews and everything. I had like, I think a week ago or something. So if you add in like add up all those numbers, this movie has about like 2.3 mil. Yeah. No, 2.8 mil. That's including the 500K. Let me, yeah. 2.8 million already, including like this 500K and then the 2.3 million with like early sneaks, as it says here, like on Deadline. So yeah, so that this is one of those weird things. I forgot to mention Lionsgate. That how did I forget about Lionsgate? Let's talk about Lionsgate, okay? I completely forgot about them. To say Lionsgate has had a bad year is an understatement, a severe understatement, because holy shit, it has been just a horror show, especially the last few months. I mean, from August to October, they were releasing like so many movies, rapid fire. It was ridiculous. And not one of them was a hit. In fact, they were all bombs. They all did awful. Awful, man. Borderlands, The Crow, Never Let Go, Megalopolis, Killer's Game, Whitebird, 1992, bombs. All of them. Just absolute embarrassments. And the rest of their year hasn't been that great either. I mean, like 19 mil, 20 mil, 20 mil, 25, 28. When your highest grossing movie has only made like $35 million, that's a problem. That's a serious issue going on. And like last year was quite all right for Lionsgate. They had John Wick 4. They had Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So what the fuck went wrong here? Like what is how did things go so sour compared to last year? I guess it's just the quality of the movies and just what they were releasing, but yeah, it's this year's been awful. Just straight up awful for them. But with Unsung Hero, I think that's a really good comparison because it's also like a family centric, faith based flick. So you know what? This works. And that had one of those like weird things where it's like Thursday previews plus a bunch of other previews all wrapped together. That was 1.67 million and it opened with like 7.7 million. So doing the math. I hate that they gotta do it like this because it makes things like way more confusing for no reason. But well, I'm looking at its what's going on right now with it. It's projected to hit between like 8.5 and 12 million dollars. Um, hmm, it's probably going to be like the higher end. I can see this hitting double digits. If it can do that, that'll be only the second time this year. Lions gets hit double digits, which is really sad, to say the least. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with 10 million just to be safe. 10 million. Let's go with that. It might do a little better than about 10. I didn't even meant. I'm forgetting so many things. This is what happens when I do these things like late. I forget details. Monday is Veterans Day. So that means, no kids in school, which means this movie's going to have a big old boost on Monday. So I got to think about that. But, I'm going to go with 10 to 12 million opening weekend. Plus Monday, it's probably like adding an extra like $3-4 million, I think. And its legs should be long realistically, unless it does get squashed by the triple threat that I mentioned earlier around Thanksgiving. But I'm going to go with 30 mil, 30, 40 mil, maybe. It could have a long, long life or it can get crushed. It depends. It all depends on what happens in 2 weeks. So, yeah. And yeah, that's it for that. Now we got 4 more movies to talk about: Elevation, Heretic, Small Things Like These, and Weekend in Taipei. So stay tuned for those. And so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year, the past few years. You want to watch any of them, go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office the box office results for any particular month. October recap will be next week, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that was supposed to come out but didn't, or went, I meant past tense. I talked about this movie one time. It was episode 242. I talked about it alongside The Crow, Saw 11, Trap, and Never Let Go. So, yeah. That was the one time I talked about this movie. So if you want to watch that video or any other cancel episodes I made, want to watch any of them, go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.